Look at that. Wow. Oh, it's definitely a crazy night tonight. Look at me. I look like a gerbil. I just like to kind of blend in. I just want people to know that I'm an animal lover. Anyway, speaking of animal lovers, does anybody here know that birds are very interesting?
I did not know.
On the truth, I never knew how interesting birds were until I saw 2 birds getting their tails burned in a pot store. And these guys are telling me it's called shake a tail feather because you can make them move fast. Of course they're going to move fast. Their house is on fire. It's like eating Mexican food, okay, afterwards. So I end up with these birds. And now I'm wondering if I'm doing something wrong because people are making money off of birds. They're making money off of the birds, okay, on a live stream. And people are watching. You know why? Because they don't want to play with their birds. I don't want to play. I'm tired of you to run around. And he tangled my jewelry and ran off with a piece of my earring. I was like, yo, you going back to the hood. Because they came from the hood. They came from the East Village, New York City, right? Killed a mouse when it was there. And they killed a big-ass, it's a roach. But you know, out here, they're like, no, that is not a roach. That's water bug or cricket. It's only a cricket when it's in your house. You have to go because your eyes are chomping at the bit. So I wanted to bring someone up. But he's going to be here to see what's going on. But you should know this gentleman. But I'm going to bring you up because it's time for the one and only fabulous Mr. Crystal. Give it up.
What's up, everyone? All right, I just come up here to lie to y'all. I'm gonna be real. I used to be addicted to masturbating. And it was bad because, I mean, it got to the point where I used to have to kick people out of my room just to jerk off, right? I mean, thankfully, though, those days are long behind me because now I can just sneak it. Although I have distanced myself from porn, mainly because of just how, like, aggressive they've gone with the advertising. Like, I remember once I was jerking off to this chick, and, like, right when I'm about to finish, I get a big pop-up ad that reads, "Your boss has ended the breakout room." But, you know, I knew I had to quit porn when it followed me to my next job, right? I remember, the first day I get called to HR for rumors, false rumors, might I add, that I was watching adult videos at work. So when they questioned me, of course I denied it. I was like, what? There weren't any adults in those videos. They were teens, but 17, 16. So yeah, you know, now that I've quit porn, I've been able to explore new habits, like drinking, for example. I've been able to explore some new habits like drinking. Definitely a habit I picked up from my mom. She used to be a heavy drinker. Thankfully, my brother was able to convince her to quit when the doctor handed him to her. But, my favorite place to drink probably be the bar, just because I feel like you get to meet so many characters over at the bar, right? I remember I was talking to this guy once, and he was trying to convince me, the first time you've gay sex, your cum turns rainbow. And so I look at this guy, I'm like, you, sir, have got to be the biggest liar that I have ever met. And then I stormed out his apartment. But, sometimes I drink too much, wake up in a hospital. That always sucks, right, waking up in a hospital. Because the thing is, I see hospitals the same way I see the N-word, right, where it's like, I got friends who don't like it, and I also have friends who don't mind it, but I don't know anyone who's a fan of the ER.
We do.
All right, I have a girlfriend. We've been dating for a minute, thank you. Although sometimes we get into some stupid fights. Like when she shattered her nose, I thought I'd be a good boyfriend, pay for the plastic surgery. Instead, she wakes up, she's furious. She says I paid way too much, but I'm like, what the hell could I have done about it, right? Boob jobs are expensive. Right now, we are doing long distance. It's going all right. I mean, she's definitely been taking it harder than I have. I mean, she started tearing up when I called her and told her that I would be able to visit her in just a couple of days once this damn restraining order expires. I kind of want to rant about my ex right now. She was Catholic, so we had promised each other that, you know, we'd hold off sex till marriage. And then one day she comes home, right, tells me she got AIDS. So, yeah, you know, I had to break up with her, and that hurt. But the thing is, I wouldn't wish AIDS on anybody. But listen, if you're in a committed relationship, you've got to be a special kind of asshole to steal my razor. Okay. It's a new one. So I was at a Starbucks the other day. Had a interesting experience. I mean, I was just appalled when I got back my cup and saw that they'd written a racial slur on it. Yeah, I didn't know what was worse. The fact that they had actually written it, or the fact that they actually thought that I was being serious. Okay. All right. Well, total bomb.
No, it's not. That goes in the joke bank.
Thank you. Let's see. You know, I've had an okay childhood. You know, on my first day of middle school, I got bullied. Yeah, I got bullied for bringing in a teddy bear. Some guy shoves me, calls me a virgin. So I cried, I ran home, and I locked my teddy bear away, knowing nobody would believe us. You know, I've been getting shit since I was a kid, though. Like, I remember my mom grounded me for months when she caught me setting an ant on fire. Yeah, I mean, the only person more pissed off than my mom that day was my uncle. Okay. Let's see. My parents, I still love them, though, although they were strict. My dad is, he's super Republican. Like, all of his hats are red from the blood of Democrats. Which is actually kind of, my dad is Republican and my mom is liberal. So naturally that kind of fucked up my politics, right? Like, I'm pretty sure I'm the only guy I know who's anti-vax and pro-autism. But yeah, my parents are getting older now. It always sucks to see, you know, when the people who you suck to, like, they're not as cool as you thought they were. Like, my dad, he used to be able to find a parking space, like, anywhere. Like, I mean anywhere. But, you know, now that I've gotten older, I've slowly kind of realized that he's just disabled. But, you know, I love my dad. He's actually one of the bravest guys I know. I mean, he's had an STD for, like, more than half his life. I mean, so he's always preaching safe sex. I mean, he always used to gather me and my brothers around, and he'd always say, if he could only go back, then he never would have had us. You know, recently I've been on my conspiracy theory shit. I actually have this theory that Jesus actually came back in the 1900s, and the only reason why nobody's found him is because the Nazis did first. All right, thank you guys.
My name is whatever, and where do they find you?
Oh, my name's Ethan Crystal. Follow me on Ethan Crystal at Instagram.
There you go. Ethan Crystal. And look who's here.
Who?
You.
Oh, right.
Happy Hanukkah.
The same to you.
Why is the show? These latkes. Oh, God. They showed a rerun of me cooking on Good Housekeeping. So, guys, I thought you were very good, by the way. And when you find something like that you thought was funny and you're like, I'm going to drop that, don't do that. You're going to put that in the joke bank, because one day you're going to pull it out of the side of your balls and it's going to kill. Because if you thought it was funny, then it has to be funny. So believe in yourself like that. And I'm like that sometimes. And if you don't believe me, you can ask the one and only Billy Ramirez to come up here to the stage, please.
I'm trying to debate what set I should do. All right, fine. It's got to be reruns. All right.
New people.
Hello, my name is Billy Ramirez. I am a 43-year-old Latino Spanish speaker. I like to just immediately tell people that, at least because most of you here, at least everyone on that side knows that I speak Spanish, so I can't really spy on anyone. Like, for example, I once got free guacamole at a restaurant because a server called me a pendejo. And for free guacamole, you can call me any name under the sun. Seriously. So I like to consider myself an office Latino, which is my quick and easy way to tell people that I'm not the type of Mexican that's going to fix your car, fix your transmission, anything like that. But I can put together a website or a PowerPoint a toda madre. That means just terrific. I also call myself a middle-aged muchacho, which is my way of coping with the fact that I'm dying. Not like next Tuesday, but eventually. But the next step before dying is getting old, and I'm sure plenty of people already think that I'm getting old because I existed in the 1900s. So yeah, that's something like, wow, I existed in a completely different century. That's makes me feel old. But as a middle-aged man, I know that I will be old. I need to get used to that. And one way I'm starting to get used to the fact that I'm a middle-aged man, I'll soon be old, is now if I were presented with the opportunity at 43 years old, I know that I would never, ever, ever, ever try to outrun a fat cop. Like, that's for sure out of the question now. It's not like I ever did it, but in my 20s and 30s, like, for sure, if I saw a Paul Blart-esque police officer, I'm like, oh man, like I just need to see you chase me. Like, this is gonna be hilarious. But I never did it, but the little devil always popped up. But now at 43 years old, I don't think a fat cop, or any cop for that matter, is gonna give me 10 to 18 minutes to lightly jog in place to get my heart rate up so things don't end tragically. Because if I were to sprint from a cold dead start now, I'm for sure blowing out an ACL, MCL, PCH, WNBA, what have you. An O-ring, that's a new concern now in my 40s. Anyways, let's see what else. Another way that I'm trying to cope with the fact that I'm getting old and maybe I'll soon be a curmudgeon is my sheer and outright refusal to learn how to text using any sort of shorthand or slang. I refuse to do so. No. For me, it's proper grammar and punctuation or nothing, and that includes the Oxford comma. Now, all right, I will admit that I don't really do that just, because I'm getting old. It's really the only way I can show off my communication degree, because I certainly don't show it off with where I live or with what I drive, with my career or anything like that. So I don't know if you remember an old episode of The Simpsons, and most of them qualify as old now because they've been around since the 1900s. But this one came out about 20 years ago when I was working towards my oh-so-lucrative communication degree. And in this episode, the kicker for Springfield University injures his leg in the big rivalry game. And in the locker room, Dr. Julius Hibbert tries to comfort the poor kicker, and he tells him, "Oh, I'm afraid you'll never play football again. At least you can fall back on your degree in communications." Oh, dear Lord, no. And the kicker goes, "Yes, I know he's a funny major. Lubchenko learned nothing." Well, that joke is funny to me again, because it is said that comedy is tragedy plus time. And, well, enough time has passed. And the tragedy is a communication degree. So I don't know if you noticed, by the way, I pronounced my name at the beginning, Billy Ramirez. I really like to show off that I hablo español, and LA offers me plenty of opportunities to do so. Plenty of opportunities to make me feel like an undercover Mexican. Like, whenever I go to a Mexican restaurant and I overhear someone order something like a chicken quesadilla, chicken fajitas, chimichangas, or something like that. By the way, it's a tragedy that Eric Estrada and Celia Cruz never teamed up for anything. They could have had a variety show called Chips and Salsa. All right, that one's on the house. But whenever it's my turn to order at a Mexican restaurant, I just cannot resist going completely overboard and basically start auditioning for a telenovela that nobody's shooting. Just all of a sudden, ¿Qué tal, preciosa? It could be a dude, like a preciosa, bella. It could be night, too, and the sun's in my eyes. En este momento yo deseo 3 tacos de carne asada, una torta de jamón, 2 churros y una peñafiel. Gracias, por favor, muy amable. Buen provecho. Que Dios te bendiga. And then when I'm feeling extra confident, I'll throw in some bonus words. Entonces, por supuesto, crepúsculo. The problem is I have this face and demeanor, so sometimes I'll order in fluent español, and then in return I'll get a Okay, do you want, hijo de tu puta madre? Fine, Jose, I will have a side of that green whack-a-mole, whatever that is. I know what it is. But really, it doesn't matter where or when I hablo español, because whenever I do, I just go completely overboard, like I said. But I basically turn into one of those Latino reporters you see on the news. I don't know if anyone still watches the news, but if you do, pay attention to any reporter whose last name ends in EZ. And there's a very good chance that reporter is going to take any and every opportunity to celebrate the rich cultural tapestry of the Spanish language. And that's how I hablo español, like a Latino reporter wrapping up a segment. Something like, police don't have any further information on the suspect reporting life from El Camino Real in Santa Clara. This is Gustavo Gutierrez, el mero mero más chingón, tú sabes, güey, for ABC 7 News. Back to you, Nancy. So I'm very fortunate that I lived in a Spanish-speaking household. I also lived in Mexico back in the 80s when I was growing up. And that's the jumping off point for this little bit that I like to call the first time I got hit by a car. So here's what happened. So it was late 1980s. I was 7 years old, and I was hanging out with my mom. She was making lunch, and she ran out of tortillas, which is an emergency in a Latino household. Now, my brother and my dad were up in the city running errands, so it was up to me to go get tortillas. So my mom handed me money to go across the street to the corner store to go get tortillas. And this is something my older brother and I had done plenty of times. But I'd never done it myself, so I was nervous about crossing the street by myself. And now it's not like crossing the 405 or anything like that, just crossing a dirt road in a sleepy little Mexican town, and traversed by farmers and beat up trucks and whatnot. But still, I was 7 years old, never crossed the street by myself, so I had to work up the courage. So I got to the edge of the street, and I started just rocking like I was about to jump into a double dutch. Like I gotta run to get across the street. Feels like double dutch. Like I don't know what I came up with. Something like maybe, banana split. What do you get in arithmetic? But in Spanish, I don't know what it is in Spanish. Plátano, que las matemáticas. I don't know. It doesn't really work in Spanish, but eventually, I worked up enough courage and jetted across the street. And when I woke up, people from the neighborhood were dragging me from what I later learned was a blue 1983 Chevy Silverado. They dragged me out, they dusted me off, and they stood me up like a rickety card table. And when they realized that I wasn't going to tip over, they just left. That was it. That was the extent of medical care in small town 1980s Mexico. And I don't know if it was the truck or just reality, but at the time, yes, 1980 small town Mexico did have an orange tint. It was probably because I was struck by a blue 1983 Chevy Silverado, or it could just be Mexico. But anyway, so there I was. I just left there by myself, and I was 7 years old. I could count to 10, so I could have gone toe to toe in a couple of rounds of how many fingers am I holding up or anything. No, nothing. That was it. So basically, my day had been I went to go get tortillas. I got hit by a truck, and now I'm still on the same side of the road I started on, and I don't have any tortillas. So like, oh man. So I went home. I wasn't sure. I wasn't going to try to cross the street at this point again. So I went home, but I had the perfect excuse because I knew I needed to tell my mom why I didn't have the tortillas, and also why I looked like I had just gotten hit by a blue 1983 Chevy Silverado. So perfect excuse is the neighbor's dog. They used to have this mangy little mutt named Sapo, which is Spanish for toad, because he had this really just, the guttural bark, it came from deep. And he chased everyone on the street. You weren't anyone if you didn't get chased by a Sapo. So perfect. Sapo chased me, I fell, and blah, blah, blah. All right. So I get home. My mom sees me and immediately does that mom, ¿qué pasó? I tell her that the dog chased me and I didn't have tortillas, and I start crying, real tears on account of having been struck by a blue 1983 Chevy Silverado. But, she understood that, at least what she heard was that I got chased by the neighbor's dog, I fell, and I don't feel like getting tortillas. All right, that's fine. So she just dusted me off some more, opened up a strawberry Fanta for me, and told me to go, just go play. It's like, perfect, that's it. Go enjoy my Fanta, I'm going to go to the hammock, and I don't have to worry about getting tortillas or getting hit by another truck. Because, my dad, my brother will be here soon. They can get tortillas. And very likely they won't be hit by a blue 1983 Chevy Silverado. So I start heading towards the hammock, and then there's a knock at the front door, and my mom goes to answer, and I wasn't normally I don't pay attention to my mom, talking to all the neighbors and whatnot, but I was a little worried about having lied about the dog, so it turns out that it was a neighbor. And for a split second, I thought that my mom was gonna just save my honor, like este pinche perro que está correteándome or whatever. But no, they were just they're homies, homettes, whatever, comadres. So they just talked a little bit, blah blah blah. But it was a short conversation, and that kind of caught my attention. So I asked my mom after the neighbor left, so what did Tere? That was her name. What did Tere want? And she said, don't worry about it. So all right, fine, whatever. It's grown up stuff. They were probably talking recipes or something, or favorite aprons. I don't know. So I start heading down to the hammock, and I get to within 3 steps of the hammock when my mother pipes up and she says, "Oh, by the way, yes, dear mother." Oh, damn! Oh shit! I screwed it up. Yeah, I screwed it. Yeah, no. There's a setup there. There's a setup there. Yeah, no, that's fine. No, because it really. Yeah, the point. It did. Yeah, yeah.
Nobody knows.
I had too much. I had too much wine yesterday. No, but the punchline doesn't work without the setup. Yeah, I screwed it up. See, it's open mic. It's open mic. Yeah, yeah. Dang it. Yeah. So I was trying to. What was the time on that?
10.
Basically.
10:31.
10:31. God damn it! Oh shit!
Hey.
You should have flashed me. All right. So yeah, that's another thing we work on is memorizing stuff and also fitting your set within 10 minutes or the allotted time. So, anyways, my name is Billy Ramirez. You can find me at billyramirez.com. And once again, please welcome back to the stage Sunda Kronquist.
Thank you very much. And let me tell you something. You get so many laughs, and you don't. What you don't do, you're not going to see the last comedian.
Sorry, we got a movie to go. Nosferatu.
Which movie?
Nosferatu.
Wow.
All right.
Best comedy I've ever seen.
Oh, right.
Here, take a picture with us. No, we're going to take a picture. Where'd you go? Ethan, take a picture.
All right.
I mean, take a picture of me and Ethan. Oh, come on, get up. I didn't take a picture. Get over here.
Oh, I
Yeah,
have to
you're
go
part
up.
of it.
I'm not
Hey,
a.
come on, man.
You're stuck.
She's a Jersey girl, too.
I got 3 in there.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
There you go. How do I look? Like a midget. All right, go see. Is that your water?
That's mine.
All right.
All right.
Silverstein.
Guess have a good one.
It's over there.
Oh my God. I am so glad you're here tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Because we got somebody.
Here.
Oh, thank you. That's what I do need. Because sometimes you get a little higher and you want to hear the comedy of the one and only David Schneider. Come on, let's do this.
We're gonna do it.
Doing it in the dark. Oh yeah. Rock.
Okay. This in the back. All right. So, my wife and I have been together for 7 years. Yeah. Thank you. You know why she's my soulmate? Why our marriage works? Communication, right? Fuck no. You're not even close. Our secret, we like the same TV shows. Oh, it's like our love grows with every episode without talking. To do my part, I got every pay channel there is. Yeah, it's a little pricey, but I believe to make it work, you got to invest in the relationship. Now, I know some of you single ladies out there are probably thinking, hey, David, how do we even go about meeting a guy like you? Good news. It's easier than you think, okay? Next time you're on a first date, don't worry what car he drives. Ask what channels he got. If it's just Netflix and Amazon Prime, that's all right. It's okay. If you're into guys who drive a Buick, add Hulu, Apple, he's got potential. Listen, you can work with this. But if on top of all of that, he got HBO Max, Paramount Plus, well then, ladies, maybe the problem is you if that date don't end with a blowjob. Oh, ladies, you're welcome. Let's see. Now, having lots of channels comes with responsibility. You got to be vigilant, okay? Like last month, I rented this old movie on Amazon Prime for $3.99, only to find out It's free on Netflix. That sucked. Now, I know it's not a Greek tragedy, overpaying $3.99 for a movie like Casablanca or Citizen Kane, #1 on Spielberg's list of greatest movies. But it kind of does suck to pay $3.99 for the sequel to Caddyshack. You know, not quite sure where that one landed on Spielberg's list. But you know what I like most about the old movies and old TV shows that they just don't do anymore? They'd give me a heads up when, out of nowhere, there's a flashback. Right? It was old school with across the screen, 10 years earlier. Right then I knew it's 10 years earlier. Now it's on me to notice we're suddenly back in the 80s because the main character's wearing dolphin shorts listening to a Walkman. If they're not going to tell me it's a flashback, then the character's got to start wearing name tags. Now, the only show that my wife liked that I just didn't find believable, A Handmaid's Tale. Did you ever see that? A Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah.
All right, did you like it? No, right? You know what? Because it's not believable. In case you don't know, it's based on a book by Margaret Atwood, where men control everything and women have no rights. A wife must obey her husband, and if she can't conceive, the husband gets to have sex with a handmaid whenever he wants to get the handmaid pregnant. And I'm sorry, maybe I'm a little old-fashioned, okay? You know? But after watching all that crazy, misogynistic stuff, I'm supposed to ignore reality and logic and believe a woman wrote that book? Come on. Seriously, totally ruins the fantasy. Now, my wife and I, we do like watching these documentaries on serial killers and how they're caught. Love that forensic stuff, right? Isn't it great? The only problem is Netflix will make recommendations based on these shows. Since you like body dismemberment, how about these shows, you sick fucks? Literally, worried that the FBI is going to show up, we binge-watched all 6 seasons of Downton Abbey just to cleanse our viewing history. Then I saw this great documentary about historic buildings on PBS. I like PBS. I'll watch PBS from time to time, you know, until they start begging for money. Then they can go fuck themselves. Cock-teasing bastards, trying to entice my membership with a gift of the greatest hits from the Carpenters. As if I could walk away from that. But thank you. But the documentary was great. Did you know in the 1880s, it only took 2 years to complete the Eiffel Tower? That's true. In the late 1920s, it only took 2 years to complete the Chrysler Building in New York. And, get a load of this, a little bit more than 1 year to complete the Empire State Building. That's amazing. Let me tell you something. If you're not blown away by that, consider this. It just took 3 years to complete the final season of Yellowstone. By the way, am I the only one that needs a 7-hour recap of these shows? I don't remember shit. That's about a new rule for all of these shows, okay? Between seasons, I shouldn't have to renew my driver's license twice. Oh, and another problem when you have years pass between seasons, the actors grow older. You know, for the old ones, they could use an extra hair dye, some extra foundation over a wrinkle, right? No big deal. But am I supposed to overlook Billy, that adorable, cute 12-year-old boy, is 6'2" with hair plugs? Now, here's where my wife is my soulmate, okay? She remembers everything about these shows. I could ask anything and get an answer. Although occasionally I'll ask something that makes her actually question the marriage. I'll know this because her answer will start off with 2 words. 2 words that put chills down my spine. Literally, emasculates me. Makes me want to roll up in a ball and die. 2 words. Pause it. Pause it has never been followed by, great questions. How do you think of these questions that nobody else does? Must be a gift. No, pause it is followed by a 20-minute dissertation on the question. And I got a confession to make. Half the time, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. I just fake that I do, you know? And basically, if my wife would be in the audience, I'd say, hey, Ashley, does this look familiar? Oh, that's the guy that did that thing with the other guy. Yeah, you know what? I don't remember because I was making a sandwich at the time. Go ahead, press play. Go ahead. Yeah. You're not the only one that could fake shit. And that would be it. If she was in the audience, I'd say that. And that's it, guys. Thanks so much.
And where can we find you?
Right here.
Right here. 'Cause
The
we're
pillow
doing-
over there.
We're doing a show soon. You're gonna be in it, so you might as well
Right.
get your act ready.
Oh,
You have to.
pressure. I can't take the pressure.
It's not. Listen, you always say that, but you'll see. You'll see.
All right.
Have I ever lied to you?
Constantly.
Tell me when.
Never.
Never. When I say don't do that again, you don't do it again.
I won't do it
He
again.
doesn't. He's very good. He listens. And I want to tell you what's really interesting since you've been gone is that now we are also a part of the acting world. And here, right here in this room, we have Aaron McIntyre, who has brought his school from San Francisco to Los Angeles, and it's the Film Actors Cafe. And you should be interested in this because he's really helped me out with my memorization skills and things like that. And I think we all know who he is. He's also a great guy. Let's give it up for Aaron.
Yeah. Right, that's a little.
Yes. I know, I'll be shorter.
Oh boy. Talking about getting old. You know what I mean? Yeah, my name's Aaron McIntyre. It's not Aaron or Aaron. It's Aaron. It's right in the middle. So it's not E-R-I-N. It's not A-A-R-O-N. So fucking don't call me A-A-Ron, for God's sakes, you know. I am a bipolar man. So I don't live on both poles because that's not what it means. But I got to tell you that the commute is a motherfucker, you know. It is a motherfucker. You know, you got 6 months of just being like, oh my God, look at this microphone. And we're all one. And everything is beautiful. God, you're my soul. We got the same cells. We're made from stars. To, you know, sitting on your front porch with a blanket over your head, drinking a beer, you know, sobbing into it. You know, it's quite a commute. But yeah, so I got that. I got ADD, which everybody has, right? Everybody in this room. Do you have ADD? Yeah, maybe. You know, who knows? But every person I say I got ADD, everybody says, "Oh yeah, me too." So I figure it must be going around. You know, you must be catching it somewhere. And there's another thing. Oh yeah, Tourette's. I always forget about Tourette's, which any people out there with Tourette's, solidarity, my brothers. Somebody was mentioning, oh yeah, Ethan was talking about the autism thing, you know. I gotta say, you know, any crazy person out there, this guy, he wants to take away the vaccine. Because according to him, you know, there's studies that need to be done to find out about autism. You know, and I say, go for it. Go for it. Because I know a lot of autistic people, and I like them. You know, I mean, they're nice people. Don't like people with polio. I mean, I don't know anybody with polio. But that's why I don't like them. I did have a friend who was in the 3rd grade who had polio. It did not look fun. So I say, you know, if you eradicate polio, then, you know, you got to make sacrifices sometime. I also had a mother. Everybody had a mother, right? So was yours domesticated?
Yes.
Yeah, mine wasn't. Mine definitely wasn't. She used to. There was somebody else talking about the drinking buddies. My mom had a drinking buddy who owned a liquor store, and he lived right across the road. Not a good combination. Not a good combination because they would get together every night and drink. They loved it, and they would just get sloshed in the family room and pass out, and then they moved, and so another alcoholic moved in across the street, Mrs. Hooker. So she actually taught me how to do a Cockney accent, you know, because I was doing the Artful Dodger, and I didn't want to do that. But the kid who was playing Oliver, his name was Howard Johnson. So I don't know if anybody's ever eaten at a Howard Johnson before, but they make great peanut brittle But they really don't make good fucking kids. You know, they do not make good kids because this guy was a little, you know, prissy. They don't talk like that. And I was like, okay. So I just waited until the day and then gave it to him, and he was not happy. But that's okay. I also, you know, I got this toe fungus. I don't know, you know, I got a toe fungus. And I do have to say, I was going to come up here, and everybody's got a fucking accent in here, you know. So I was trying to think about, you know, which one I could do. So I could run through, you know, we got Brooklyn, you know, we got Jersey, right? Then you go down a little bit farther south, you know, and we get into Kentucky. And Kentucky's got a completely different one. They got the hard R, you know, and then you move down a little bit into Georgia and Florida, and they lose the R somehow. I don't know how the hell they lost it, but they did. And it's a really interesting thing. If you slow Southern down, it sounds like British. It's fucking amazing. All you got to do is just pick it up, and suddenly it becomes English, which I always found very fascinating. I'm struggling right now. Struggling to think about what the fuck I'm gonna say, and I'm having a blast.
That's right.
I mean, I love you people out there.
Really?
You're fabulous. Yes, I do teach acting, so I've been doing that for about 35 years, and in that time I have also been an actor. Done lots of roles with some, you know, Brian Cox. I was in a movie with him. I don't know. Don Johnson, did a scene with Don Johnson and Willie Nelson. One of the most wonderful people in the world and one of the biggest assholes you'd ever want to meet. And I'm not going to say which one because I think you could probably fucking figure it out, right? This guy was such a jerk. And so I have everything I've done, I've like worked with like one of the best people I've met and one of the biggest jerks. So, you know, we're split right down the middle. Everybody's you know, that's the business, right? But you may have, you know, heard some of my greatest lines, you know. The lady asked me to give you this. And, can I get your bag, sir? And, you don't like LSU? And, jump! And those are some of the more memorable ones that I'm sure that you'll pick up on. You know, Randy, it's crazy in here. Lots of ones like that. Hot dogs. No, I never did that one. Didn't get that part. You know, I auditioned for it and they didn't hire me, so I didn't get to do the hot dogs line. My mother. I was talking about my mother. That's the ADD. Okay. Talking about my mother, something comes up, I fucking start talking about something else. So my mother, during the pandemic, I went out and I took care of her. I didn't do a very good job because she died. But that's okay, she wanted to go. And she would have laughed at that joke. So the fact that you didn't means you have no sense of humor, because my mother, no, she would never have laughed at that joke. But she was not domesticated. She was. We had this couch. I'm going to do the story again. So we had this couch that kind of wrapped around, you know. And anybody ever seen Mannix? Did you ever watch Mannix? Yeah. So remember the opening? And he would run out there. He would be doing all this shit of pulling a gun out and doing all this stuff. And then all of a sudden he'd run and he'd put his hand on the railing and he'd jump over. You know, that cool move. So I thought I'd do that, you know, and I figured out I could do it on the couch, you know. So I'm running and I'm doing this over and over and over again. But one day my mom walks in and she goes, "Don't jump on that couch." So I said, okay, you know, I won't. So she goes back to the back room. She's vacuuming, and I'm like, okay, she's way back in the back of the house. This is my perfect opportunity. So I run and I jump, and my foot gets caught on the back of the couch, and I go, boom, right on my head. And just like Billy, I woke up, and my mother was vacuuming around my head, going, "I told you not to climb on that fucking couch." So, and then she just picked me up, and she's like, "You can't go to sleep. You can't go to sleep. Not let's take you to the doctor and see if there's any brain damage. which obviously there was, or else I wouldn't be up here. Nothing like that. I fell on my head a lot when I was a kid. I actually fell out of a second-story window onto my head. Fortunately, there was a dog house right under my window. So my head went right through the thing. Fortunately, it wasn't one of those Snoopy ones, with the point, because I'd be dead. But it was the same thing. It's like my family. They never wanted to go to the doctor. So apparently, I was walking around completely, I don't even remember this, walking around the backyard, crying. My sister was sitting at the dining room table and watched me drop. My parents, we had just moved to this new base. My dad was a commander of this Air Force base. And they were at a party when I fell out of the window. So my sister calls them. But what she does, she doesn't, well, they didn't have 911, but she doesn't take me to the doctor. She doesn't do anything like that. She calls my mother, runs a bath, and puts me in the bathtub to clean me up to go to the hospital, right? So I wake up in mid-scream with a bathtub full of blood. I have a really hard head, though, because I only got 8 stitches. That was it. Don't remember anything, went into shock, but I did feel like, I remember I went out into the field next door and I watched myself fall out of the window over and over and over and over again. And I realized that was just a premonition about my life, because my life was going to be just a series of fuck-ups. And that's what happened. And that's where I'm at right now. So right here, fucking up on stage, having fun.
Having fun.
Loving it, baby. I think where are we at? We good?
Yeah, we way past.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I didn't see the light. I'm a terrible person. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much. I'm Aaron McIntyre, AERON, Yeah, okay. You want me to? Yeah. No.
No?
From the back of the house.
You really won't go up?
All right, Cinda.
Okay.
Take us home.
Okay, baby.
All right.
Take me home. Take me home. Oh, can't you see I want you, dear? Let's get out of here. Why don't we, listen, knock down that wall and open this club? It's enough. We got to talk the day before Baba, and we got to have this as a comedy club. Isn't it a nice place?
We're here? Yes.
You got to see what we're doing now. It's like really good. And you haven't been on a podcast yet. You don't want to, I know. But you should, because you're funny. But you change your name. You guys think I'm playing around? When I deal with millionaires, or I mean billionaires, not millionaires. Billionaires, change your name, because I could get kidnapped. Now, I'm always thinking they're going to come get me. Did I not change what's his name's name to that guy from the Beverly Hillbillies? I was scared, because I was thinking, suppose I get kidnapped, because I was always working with the temple, and I always had the diplomats from Israel, and I was always surrounded by security, and I'm like, why am I always the best of what I'm trying to say here? I'm so tired. But it's okay, guys, because we made it through a new year. We made it. I don't know what anybody else did, but I didn't do anything. I forgot to turn on the phone. And my friend had said something that hurt my feelings about my new birds I was telling you about. And I heard her say, I hope they die. I heard her. But that's not what got me. My husband has this thing for me to hang my clothes on because he has one all over the place. And I brought the birds in my room so I could clean out the living room before the cleaning lady comes, of course. And the thing falls like this. And it knocks the bird down. I'm like, oh, it's dead. And it wasn't dead, thank God. But they're lazy birds. They're not even angry birds. You're out of the cage. Do something. They're like my husband, and they look like him. He has a little cockatiel thing in the front. So I'm very excited about this acting class going on. I'm very excited that you people have a place to come and do a podcast. And I'm very excited that Aaron has taken this on with our marketing director over here. Director of marketing or marketing director? We're all gonna talk about this tonight. And if there's nothing else